Good afternoon, ladies. I'm here with a quick video today of my Frozen Charlotte dolls, as I promised. And I have them sitting here. They're very tiny. I'm going to put one in my hand so that they will come up like better. I think you can see them a little bit. They are full porcelain dolls, and they're from the Victorian era. They are not a reproduction. They actually are from the Victorian era. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today. Anyway, they're full porcelain. As you can see, they're standing. And the one on the right is in bad condition. As you can see, her feet are broken off and her arms. But the one on the left here, she is just missing half an arm, so she's in better condition. And I'm going to put them in my hand so you can see how big they are. I'm trying to get like a little better. Let me stand in front of the light, see if that helps. They're not really coming up very well. Anyway, they are, I'm trying to like give you where it's not so bright. There you go, you can see a little bit better. You can see a little bit of, I don't know if it's exactly dirt, but age on her. Here she is. She is 2 inches, about 2 inches tall. And there is the front of her. She's not actually that bright, it's just my camera. But I will have pictures of her on my Facebook page, Reborn, Blessing Reborn Dolls. And you can see better pictures of her. Here's the back. You can see her little hiney. She has a little hiney, and she's standing straight. And she has hair, so she's completely white with a little bit of detail, slightly in her face and arms and stuff. But it's hard to see the detail the way my camera is right now. I do not know why it's doing that there. You can see a little bit better detail there. You see the darker areas. That's how she actually looks. You can see a little bit of her details, like her face and her hair and stuff. So she's porcelain. I'm going to read a description about her and the history of her off of Facebook, because I'm not so good at recalling all the details. So I'll just let you look at them. Let me see if I can see a little bit. Well, they don't look any better there. They're on top of one of my jewelry boxes here. So I'm going to read the history of what they're about. Actually, might look better on my bed. Let's see. There. I'm going to read the history about them. And this is a description from Facebook, and it's on a page called Antiques on Queen. I just want to give them credit for this description. So here's their description. It says, Frozen Charlotte is a name used to describe a specific form of a China doll made from 1850 to 1920. The name of the doll originates from the American folk ballad Fair Charlotte, based on the poem A Corpse Going to a Ball by Seba Smith, which tells of a young girl called Charlotte who refused to wrap up warmly to go on a sleigh ride because she did not want to cover up her pretty dress. She froze to death during the journey. The Frozen Charlotte doll is made in the form of a standing naked figure molded as one solid piece. The dolls are also sometimes described as penny dolls or pillar dolls, solid china dolls, or bathing babies. The dolls range in size from under an inch up to 18 inches. The smallest dolls were sometimes used as charms in Christmas puddings. Smaller sizes were very popular for putting in dollhouses. Occasionally, versions are seen with a glazed china front, which these ones, I don't know if you can tell, here are glazed. They're pure white, but they're glazed. And they have a German mark on the back of their backs. They also made them out of other materials, but mostly they were bisque or this highly glazed porcelain. The glazed dolls, it enabled them to float on their backs when put in the bathtub. So children often played with them in the bathtub. They would let them float and play in the bath with them. or sometimes even in some places they were sold in little tiny coffins, and that was from the poem that we just talked about. That was, I believe, it was taken from a true story about the young lady. She was like a teen that froze on her way to a ball because she didn't want to wear a wrap or a coat. So they used that story as for in early 19, the Victorian era, the 1900s, the early 1900s, they used that story as a cautionary tale for number one, to listen to your mother, and number two, not to be vain. So they kind of used that as a teaching story, but they became popular. And from what my understanding, they were also called penny dolls because you paid a penny for them to buy them. So from my understanding, the dolls came first, and then the story and the poem came out a little bit later. So they associated that poem and story of the frozen Charlotte with the dolls. So that's kind of like how it happened. Dolls came first, and they said, "Hey, this doll looks like that. It reminds me of that story of the girl frozen Charlotte." So that's how they became what they are today. And I was adding some to that description. So I'm going to go ahead and finish reading the description. Frozen Charlotte dolls were popular during the late 19th and early 20th century. In the United States, smaller versions of dolls were also known as penny dolls because they were sold for a penny. Most were made in Germany, and the ones that I have were made in Germany. They can come in bisque, some even come in metal, but most of the ones are like the ones I have here. They were glazed, highly glazed, and porcelain. Let's see. So that's the main story. And there is a poem written about the girl Charlotte that froze, where they attached it to these dolls, the story. And I will look up that poem and I will read that poem soon. I'm actually getting a porcelain doll that's 16 inches, and I'm going to paint him and make him a frozen Charlie doll. And Charlie was the young lady's boyfriend. His name was Charlie. So they where the folk tale begins is that he was so distraught that she died and froze to death that he died, and he was buried next to her. I believe that the true story, I don't know if that happened in the true story, but in the true story was that she froze to death on her way to the ball. So I will be making, so they do also have frozen Charlies, and they're just like this doll here, which is a Charlotte. But they're just sometimes a little bit bigger, and I think they're wearing a hat, and you can tell that it's a boy doll. So I'm getting a boy doll that's 16-inch in porcelain, and I will be transforming him and turning him into a frozen Charlie, which probably means that I will just be painting him a paler color, like more of the white, and I may be adding cracks to him, to painted cracks, so it look like he's cracked or frozen. So here are the little frozen Charlotte girls I have. I just want to share them with you. And today I will be actually I'm supposed to be getting the little frozen Charlie baby in the mail today. So if I do, I will make a box opening video of him. I was trying to show you from a distance how tiny they are. See? She's in my hand. She's a tiny little thing. And there's a light on my camera here. I'm going to try to figure out how to turn that light off because it's kind of taken away from the details of the dolls, or any of my dolls probably. So I'm trying to see how she looks around her. You can barely make out her eyes and mouth. That's how she looks. And like I said, I got two of them. And I will be doing the box opening of Frozen Charlie today, or as soon as I get him. I'm supposed to get him today. And I will come back later with another video of my reborns, and I may be showing my boy reborns, some of my boy reborns. So I will see you then, and I hope you're having a blessed and wonderful day, and each of y'all are in my thoughts and prayers. And I will be back later today. Talk to you soon.